Ladies and gents, Casual Gaming Dad here, and we got an update here. I've seen this channel before recommended to me, given recent Diablo 4 updates and whatnot. So I saw this video, and I thought this was important. So let's take a look, because if we're talking about updates to dungeons and class buffs and nerfs, to new div updates, this could be really meaningful. So let's take a look here.
Hey, so yes, we just got by far one of the biggest updates about what's happening with Diablo 4. Yes, dungeons are going to be receiving a very big overhaul. We're going to be talking about new changes to every single class based on beta feedback. All
Okay.
come from a brand
Nice.
new IGN interview with Blizzard. Diablo 4,
Okay.
Blizzard is making a ton of changes based
Interesting.
on player feedback. Beta players have been listened to. So I say we get straight into this and see if there's any truth to that. So it says this right here. Minimizing backtracking. The first thing changing is dungeon layout.
That's a very good change.
Blizzard saying one of the most common pieces of feedback it received was around backtracking within certain dungeons. Multiple dungeons have since been
2,
optimized
3,
to
4,
reduce this,
5,
including
6,
Cauldron
7,
Gate,
8, 9 dungeons out of 120. Okay. But we haven't seen most of them yet, so
Poor Dragon
that's fine.
Smallwood, and Rhymescar Cavern. So yeah, it seems like they're having to go in individually and adjust the actual layouts. I was not expecting them to even touch the layouts whatsoever. Maybe they would do that post-launch. So I'm kind of curious to see what the end result will be of this.
Yeah,
More, the article goes on to
that's
say
good.
this. Our primary goal with the layout changes was to reduce certain kinds of backtracking, which detract from a player experience.
Absolutely.
Structure objectives that previously existed down side paths have now been repositioned to the main area. For
Thank you. That's annoying, having to
really
just
good
walk
for
back,
mid-maxing
and
strategies of
especially
play.
for
This
classes,
one right.
especially for classes that I don't have as much movement availability, such as like the Necromancer. That's, I mean, honestly, very annoying.
Your dungeon events will also occur much more frequently in the final version, as Blizzard has increased the chance for an event to spawn in dungeons from
10 to
60.
60.
60%. Quality of life improvements were also made, such as removing the wait time when depositing
Butcher.
animus, increasing movement speed when carrying ancient statues and equivalent items, and adding a mini-map ping to newly opened doors. So yeah, quality of life
Nice.
changes, in my
Very
opinion,
nice.
do really matter, and it's cool to see that's all being implemented.
Thank
Furthermore,
you.
it says, while our dungeons offer a variety of objectives to complete, player feedback stated that the action of completing each objective felt tedious. We hope that providing bonuses such as the increase to mobility while carrying
Okay,
objective
there we
items
go.
will streamline and vary the experience of completing objectives. This adjustment is merely a starting point, and we intend to extend this philosophy to keys in a future update. So
Very nice.
further updates will be happening even after these changes are implemented.
Of course they will.
Now, what about sellers? Sellers are also changing.
Yeah, 'cause sellers were really small.
Similar changes, as Blizzard has increased the chance for a dungeon event to occur in cellars. They also now consistently reward players with a chest upon completion. Issues have also been fixed where sellers would prematurely be marked as completed, and the guaranteed elite monster would be absent from the cellar. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. Honestly, sellers also need a change in
The next generation performance blazer.
Ay.
A brand new high-tech performance
Skip. Sorry about that.
the look and layout as well, because that's one of the redundant elements of the seller, at least for me. They need to vary that a little bit more, so hopefully they tune into that with future updates as well. All right, so yeah, let's talk about this one right here.
Talking about class
classes are also
changes.
Changes have been made to classes too. The Barbarian has received a passive 10% damage reduction. Its Whirlwind skill now deals more damage and costs more Fury. And the Double Swing enhancement refunds its full Fury cost and used on
Druid's
or not.
companion skills will now deal heavily increased damage. I felt like the damage on them was pretty low. I tried them all. They didn't seem like worth using. Ultimate skills, other cooldowns reduced. Usability of Maul and Pulverize has been improved. Very nice. I like that. I like the feel of Pulverize for sure. And using a non-chip will now transform a Druid back to their human form.
Enemies.
Nice.
That last one
Of course.
especially useful. Now, what about the Druid? It goes on to say this. Companion skills will now deal heavily increased damage. All ultimate skills have their cooldowns reduced. The usability of Maul and Pulverize has been improved, and using a non-shape-shifting skill will now transform a Druid back to the
Which
human
it
form.
should.
So we're
Obviously
headed in
transform
the
them
right
back. Why
direction
wouldn't
at
they?
least with the druid. That sounds like a complete buff right there. We'll see if they have to fine-tune that even more. He was a weakling for sure. Now, the Necromancer, what about him? Summoned minions will die
More often.
meaning players will need to utilize corpses more often. Meanwhile, many Book of the Dead stat bonuses have been increased. The Corpse Explosion skill has had its damage reduced.
Brightness of the skeletal warriors and mages has been lowered. Okay, good. Corpse Explosion had its damage reduced. Yeah,
That
Corpse
one kinda
Explosion
needs to
seems a
happen.
little OP, but
I love that, you know, being completely OP with that. But anyway, it says, and the
I'm
brightness
sure
of
it's still very
skeletal
powerful.
warriors and mages has been lowered, so they've adjusted that based.
They took
on
that feedback. This
Some
is
of you
great.
just did
Honestly,
not
this is
like
great to
the look
hear.
of the skelly, so some of you actually did. This is going to be an interesting one.
I mean, I
to
thought they
see
looked
who all
okay,
responds.
but they were a bit
Actually,
bright.
I'm
I
hoping
have
they
to admit,
further
they were.
customization options for the actual skellies. I think that would be really cool.
That would be
Yeah,
kind of cool.
customized.
True, I agree. I
Now,
agree.
we have the Rogue. As the Rogue Subterfuge skill has had their bonuses increased alongside multiple passive skills, while all imbuement skills have had their cooldowns.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
So,
There's nothing about the sorceress, the wizard,
buff
sorcerer.
for the Rogue right now.
Really? They're gonna leave it complete? Well, I mean,
Or
it seems
not.
a little
All right,
strong,
let's continue
but
on.
okay.
It says finally, the sword
Oh, okay.
charge bolt damage has been increased and the mana cost reduced. Chain lightning's damage has been reduced.
Chain lightning.
The
was
cooldown of
very-
the incinerate skill's enchantment bonus has also been reduced. Firewalls will also now spawn underneath enemies more frequently when using its enchantment bonus, and the lucky hit chance has been increased for the meteor skill's enchantment bonus. Alright, so a lot of stuff going on there with the sorcerer.
Chain lightning was
So,
definitely very
when we
strong.
introduce changes to our classes, it is with the goal of making both of them and their skills feel impactful and powerful, Blizzard said. Your feedback has helped us uphold this ideal. Furthermore, they say some players have adeptly noticed that certain skills were too powerful. One of our goals for skills is to have them be interesting to wield and interactive in terms of itemization and combat build. We've made some changes to help in this regard, with one example being the Necromancer's minions. We've made a change that makes them more vulnerable in combat, which will make Raising the Dead a more active component of the Necromancer.
I think that's going to be a difficult balance, right? Because they don't want them to be like too vulnerable, where you're just like constantly doing it, obviously, but enough where it's gonna, again, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be difficult getting it where it's enough where it becomes an active thing. So like, let's say you're summoning Necro, right? You want to be summoning Necro, so it gives you like a little bit more to do, to pay attention to, besides just using Corpse Explosion, for example, because like almost any Necromancer build would use Corpse Explosion then, and you wouldn't bother needing to resurrect. And I think that's fair, and that's fine. You know, I don't have a problem with that.
Launch is just the first step of our class balance journey, and you can expect further updates that iterate on this pillar of Diablo 4. That's
course.
an interesting change with the minions, because when I was facing off against the Butcher, I was constantly raising an army to just, you know, overwhelm him. So it was kind of fun. It made it more active. So I kind of actually get where they're coming from with that sort of change. So let's see how you all actually adapt to that change when it comes to Necromancer, who is by far one of my go-to classes. I'm thinking about maining him in the full version. All right, so let's keep
I'm
going.
maining all 5 classes. I ain't maining one.
This Blizzard is making
All of them.
further quality of life changes.
Which
along
class are you
with
making? Yes.
kind of known issues in Diablo 4, like the Butcher boss becoming unresponsive. Yikes, I never went through that one. Now it says, a lot of these changes are coming to the game's user interface as the Blizzard is shifting things around to allow for a better experience. Okay, this should be interesting. Now let's keep scrolling down here. Furthermore, it says, this starts with the chat box now being displayed
On the
on the left
left.
side of the screen when using the centered action bar configuration. A character's stats will also now be displayed by default when players click the materials and stats button within their inventory,
Okay.
while the move and interact inputs can now be mapped to one button, while the primary attack input is
Oh,
mapped to a
click to move. So a lot of people were asking for that.
Finally, the text is being changed to a new serif font. Yeah, that was one of the biggest complaints with the UI.
I know, it's such a complaint, but
the look and feel of what Diablo is.
yeah, sure. I just really didn't care that much. But you know, I get why people were. Just me personally, I didn't care.
Blizzard will
Hestia is a do-it-yourself bug spreader,
But sure,
with
I mean,
professional
I'm sure it'll look
We'll
nice.
discuss these changes and more in the developer update live stream taking place on April 20th at 11
Looking
p.m.
forward to
Central
that.
7 p.m. UK time. Now, Game Director Joe Shelley, Associate Game Director Joseph Hara, and Associate Director of Community Adam Fletcher will also share details about the end game. All right, so that's cool. Now, the betas that were a struggle to even join for some people for both KFC and queue time-related issues saw the Sorcerer and Necromancer's classes played the most, a total of 46 bajillion hours. Deaths were recorded in total in more than 60 million hours of play. So, yeah, a lot of playtime there, of course, between the Necromancer and the Sorcerer. I myself, again, really loved the Necromancer. I need more time with the Sorcerer, though. Let me tell you what, and the Rogue. Because I was all about, just to be honest with you, I was all about Necromancer and Barbarian. I just fell in love with those classes, despite some of the controversy around the Barbarian. So yeah, some really cool stuff going on with Diablo 4 today, and you know what time it is. It is time to go over your top comments. Remember,
Just a sec.
million hours of play. There's people for both community, Adam.
11 a.m. Okay, I just want to make sure I got that time.
It'll take you this many hours.
Gonna have to stream that for sure.
Here. Check it out. It's about the battle pass, but a warning also about keeping your expectations in check when it comes to what was advertised by some websites as like major story content every 3 months. That's not going to be the case. It's going to be more like tutorials, quest lines, little quest lines that introduce us to new gameplay concepts of that season. All right, so let's get into what you guys had to say about it, shall we? Souls says this, I think this is good. It means the story should be told fully through the main quest line. I was worried we would receive a broken up story. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong for thinking this. Yeah, completely get.
Okay, I'm not gonna watch this portion of the video. I'm not subscribed to this channel, and I think that's fine. They do that, and that's good. But I think overall, my thoughts are positive on these changes. They seem like they're taking our feedback, and that's valuable. And yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to that stream next week. Make sure you're there, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be covering it. Riker's going to be in LA, being there, on our behalf for the Diablo community and the ARPG community. And I'm very happy, excited for him, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll be out with more Diablo news soon. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye-bye.